when it comes to living a softer life, you have to really believe that it's possible for you. You have to really acknowledge that, like, yeah, I can live that life. I can, if this is what I see someone else doing and I would like to experience that as well, I don't see why I can't. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia and this is the Feminine Fancy, where we talk about all things having to do with women's topics. Oh my God, it's pouring outside. It is so cold, so you might hear some like white noise in the background because I have the heater on because it's so cold. Last week it was literally 90 degrees and today it's pouring rain and it's frigid. So that's California weather for you. Oh, my tea. I forgot that I had put tea on the ground. So because it's so cold, I am wearing my favorite sweater. I will link it in the description box below. I don't know who it's by, but I got it from Bloomingdale's and I love it. It is so soft. And on the theme of soft things, today we are going to be talking about how to live a soft life, how I curated, cultivated, created a soft life for myself. I'm excited to talk about this because I've been seeing it a lot on the interwebs. There's just been a lot of conversation around like hashtag soft life. And so I wanted to throw my 2 cents into the conversation as per the usual. And I hope you guys enjoy it. If you like this topic, please give this video a like by clicking the thumbs up button. It also helps me know what topics you guys are interested in the first place. So give this video a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel if you're interested in talking about women's topics and having a girly place to hang out with your online friends. That's what I do here. Before we begin, I have to thank our sponsor for today's video, Ana Luisa. You guys know how much I love my Ana Luisa jewelry. I love it because it's feminine, it's delicate, but it's also super simple, which, as you guys know, when it comes to jewelry, I like to keep it simple. I don't like anything too crazy. Typically, I'm not even a dangly earring kind of person, but I absolutely love the earrings that I'm wearing today. I just think that they have just such unique designs, just like jewelry you wouldn't just find anywhere, you know? And for me, I like that because I love to have a little pop of color or femininity or something without it being overstated. And Ana Luisa does understated yet elegant and beautiful and feminine very, very well. If you're not familiar with Ana Luisa, they are a jewelry brand that creates high quality pieces at very affordable prices, you guys, like very, very affordable. They're also carbon neutral from packaging to product, and that's really important to me because, as you guys know, I do care about the environment, and it is important to me to try my best to be sustainable in my purchases. And they also have incredibly unique designs that will just help you feel more elegant, but also express yourself and your personality in a really great way. With Mother's Day coming up, Ana Luisa jewelry would be an amazing gift for your mom or for the mother figure in your life. I know I am so excited to give my mom her jewelry and to see her reaction. You guys know my mom's like my best friend, so I want to honor her every day of the year, but especially on Mother's Day. So I'm really excited to see if she likes what I got her. And Ana Luisa is making Mother's Day even more special this year by having a buy one, get one 40% off sale. So you can get something for your mom, the mother figure in your life, or just the woman in your life, as well as get a little something for yourself too. So everybody wins. You can shop the sale at the link in my description box below, and I'm sure you'll love all these pieces as much as I do. So thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. And don't forget to head to the link in my description box to shop the Mother's Day sale. All right, so let's talk about this concept, this soft life concept. I think the reason why so many people are talking about this right now is because we have just undergone a very stressful last few years. Just being a human, being alive in the last few years has been exhausting. It's been tiring. Many of us are just like overwhelmed, overworked, and you know, the expectation for us to go through a global pandemic, social uprising, housing prices skyrocketing, and also continue working and feeling like we want to be productive in the first place, and maintaining the sort of expectations that we have around family, around just life in general, even though life is looks so much different than it used to. I think that's the reason why people want a softer life. I think a lot of us are just just kind of like clamoring for a peaceful existence, just peace. I think more than anything, this sort of soft life thing is just about people wanting peace and wanting to feel, wanting to experience a more peaceful existence and an easeful life. And so that's why I think it's gotten, kind of popular. As per usual, I feel like I have a little bit of a different take on what creates a soft life. I think that when I've seen it talked about in other social media spaces, it's kind of very, almost luxurious, I guess you could say. But for me, living a soft life just means having certain boundaries and certain standards and expectations that will allow for me to live a peaceful day-to-day existence. It's not about bubble baths. It's not about hashtag self-care. It's about how can I sort of minimize the amount of stress in my daily life so that I can feel like I'm in my soft energy. I can feel like I'm in that more feminine energy. So that's what it means to me, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. But I also wanted to acknowledge that, living a soft life is going to look different for everyone. So for me, it might look like one thing. For you, it might look like something else. But I think generally, like I said, it's just about setting up certain boundaries, certain standards, expectations, parameters, and all of these different things so that you can exist in a peaceful way. I think that is more than anything what we all really need. But aside from that, I do feel like there are certain things that I did in my life that sort of set me up for this softer life. And one of those things is really honing in on like what my standards were for everything. What my standards were for relationships, for friendships, for work, and for myself. After a really big heartbreak, which happened several years ago, which is crazy to say now, but again, time just is elusive at this point. After that happened, I really sat back and revisited what my standards were. I really took a good hard look at what my standards were and what I was willing to accept from myself and from a relationship partner. I did that because in that moment when I was feeling, so sad and heartbroken, I was kind of like, I don't want to go through this again. This is not something I want to experience again. So what can I learn from this situation so that this does not happen to me again? I promised myself that I would never again be caught in a situation where I felt like I had to fight for someone's approval or validation. I promised myself that I would never again be caught in a situation where the other person wasn't genuinely interested in getting to know me for me. And I promised myself that I would never again be in a relationship where I had to be the one asking, what are we doing? Where is this going? Like those were like my big three was I don't want to experience those things again. So going into, relationships after that, I knew that those were my standards, and I made sure that if I noticed myself doing any of those things, that I put on the brakes and I was like, this is not it, because this is what I said I didn't want. Having standards really sets you up for success because it allows you to sort of preemptively remove people and things that probably aren't the best for you. When you don't have standards, you don't have an idea of what you're willing to accept and not accept, any old body, any old thing can come through and leave you wrecked and leave you, heartbroken or leave you feeling emotionally depleted. And that is not, beneficial to feeling like you're living this softer life and feeling like you're living within this soft feminine energy. In terms of like a romantic relationship, for example, if you ask yourself, like, what are my standards in a romantic relationship? And your answer is, at least he texts me back. Like, at least he does that. What is that communicating to you? Like, what are you telling yourself? You're telling yourself that you're not worth more than just basic communication. You're not worth a plan. You're not worth someone putting in more effort. And how is that going to make you feel in the long run? Probably not the best. Is that going to make you feel soft and feminine and desired? Or is that going to make you feel like you're in a different kind of energy where you're constantly seeking validation? In many situations, we teach people how to treat us. So if you want to live a softer life, constantly stressing about whether or not he's going to text you back or call you or make the effort isn't really conducive to allowing for that. It will, however, make you stressed out. It'll make you doubt your self-worth, and it'll also make you question your sanity. You have to ask yourself, what are my standards as far as not only romantic relationships, but my friendships, as we've been talking about on this channel, and what are my standards as far as like what I want out of my work life? What are my standards for that? I think so often we get so bogged down in work because we just need the money, because we need to pay bills, that we don't actually ask ourselves, like, Am I happy here? Is this fulfilling? What can I do? How can I maybe pivot to something that would make me feel a little bit more fulfilled and that is up to my standard of how I would like to feel in my work life? We have, you know, somewhat of limiting beliefs of like, oh, well, I could never do X, Y, and Z job or that job because ... But that's a limiting belief, and we'll get to those later. That's a limiting belief because the reality of the situation is that I believe we can really create a life that we love. I still fully believe that. And so you want to ask yourself, like, what are the standards that you have for yourself, not only in your relationships, but also in your, you know, in your job at work as well. And once you have those standards and you know what it is that would make you feel the best, that's going to aid in you living a softer life because you have sort of created a life in which you have put your stamp of approval on. Now let's check in with limiting beliefs. Many of us experience limiting beliefs. We just for whatever reason, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I don't know, but for whatever reason, we can have certain limiting beliefs of, oh, I could never ... or that would never be me, or this could never happen to me. And I experience that even still because it's something that you have to really unlearn and undo. When it comes to living a softer life, you have to really believe that it's possible for you. You have to really acknowledge that, like, yeah, I can live that life. I can, if this is what I see someone else doing and I would like to experience that as well, I don't see why I can't. There's actually a TikTok going around, I'm sure you guys have seen it, of this girl, or maybe you haven't, but it's this woman and she's talking about being delusional. And she's saying how she's so delusional and she just walks around thinking, yeah, that guy's into me, or like, yeah, I can do this. I'm gonna be the first millionaire in my family, whatever. And she's just like, who am I hurting by having this belief system? It's better than believing I'm never going to do anything, nothing good is ever going to happen to me. Like, you can have that belief system, or you can chuck your limiting beliefs and you can be a little bit delusional and say to yourself, I want a softer life. I am worthy of a softer life. I can do that. I can make that happen for myself, and I might not know exactly how, and where I'm at right now might not reflect the softer life that I want to live, but I know that I can get there somehow. But you have to let go of the limiting belief that you're not worth it, or that it's not possible for you, or that's something other people get to experience. No, there are other people who are experiencing this, so why can't I as well? And so that was a limiting belief that I had to get rid of. And now I am the most delusional person I know. Truly, truly. Do I have any proof that I will one day live in a cute woodsy cottage by the ocean in the redwoods when it costs literally so much to accomplish that where I live currently? No, I have no proof of that. But do I believe that it will happen? 100%. 100%, not a doubt in my mind, because I don't have any limiting beliefs at this point in time. And I think that doing that and being a little bit delusional, not even delusional, but just being accepting and understanding of your own dreams and validating your own dreams by saying that is possible for me is something that's really important when it comes to living this softer life. You have to believe that you can live a softer life. You have to believe that you deserve it and that it's something that is available to you, because if you don't believe those things, then it's not going to be available to you and you won't be able to experience it. So you have to shift your mindset from I can't or it's not for me to I can and it is for me. The next thing is that I really have stopped rushing. We live in such a go, 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 rush, rush, rush kind of society. And I got to a place literally like a couple weeks ago where I was like, what am I rushing for? Where am I going? What's the hurry? I just want to live and experience my life and enjoy it. The other day I was getting ready to go out and I was just gonna, throw on a little outfit. I always look, at least put together when I go out, but I don't always do my makeup because it's time consuming. And if I'm just running to like the grocery store, I might not always do a full face of makeup, if any makeup at all. I was getting ready to go out and then I was like, you know what? Slow down. Pause, sit down at your vanity that you absolutely adore and do your makeup because why not? Like, why not do your makeup? There's no rush. You don't have to start getting dinner ready for a while. Like, just slow down. And I think that's just so important for all of us, not even those of us who are like invested in soft feminine energy, but for everyone to just slow down. Our society is so fast paced and we really don't have much of an opportunity to just slow down and take things moment by moment, second by second, day by day. And it was interesting too, because like a couple days before, I had just bought a whole bunch of new makeup because I lost my makeup bag. I then found my makeup bag, but I had just bought a whole bunch of new makeup and I was really excited to use it. And I was like, sit down, use the new makeup you just bought and like put on your new perfume that you just bought and then go out into the world. There's no rush. Now, obviously, there are times when we are rushing and, you know, things are happening really fast and we just have to get going and get moving. But when you can and where you can, I think it's so important to just slow down. Just slow down. There is no rush. There is no hurry for the most part. When you are in those moments where you are rushing and you are in a hurry and you have to get somewhere really quickly, you don't have to sit down and meditate, but pause for a second. Just take a couple deep breaths and just like say a couple affirmations to yourself of like, I'm gonna be okay. This isn't that important, or everyone's going to be fine in this situation, barring like emergency situations, medical situations, things like that. If you are just kind of rushing for the sake of rushing or rushing because you feel overwhelmed, I would really encourage you to just pause in that moment and take a couple deep breaths and just say some affirmations to yourself. It doesn't seem like a lot, but wow, does it like re-regulate the system. I have noticed with myself a lot lately, when I start to feel overwhelmed, when I start to feel anxious, simply placing my hand on my chest, closing my eyes, and taking deep breaths just brings me back to center and brings me back to the present moment so much. So while we live in this society where we are encouraged to be rushing and we are encouraged to be constantly moving and going and doing things, you know, find the spaces in your life where you can slow down and you can pause and you can take a deep breath and see what you can remove from your life that would sort of make it so that you're not rushing all of the time, because all that's going to do is create a sense and a feeling of stress and overwhelm in your day-to-day life. And living a soft life is something that's going to sort of have to have consistency, right? It's not like, oh, you have one peaceful spa day and then you go back to the rat race and everything's stressful again. So what can you remove from your life, or what can you add to your life even, that would make it a softer day-to-day experience? And then finally, I have pretty much stopped overworking myself. So it's funny because I just said on my community tab this morning that I bit off more than I could chew. I put on the community tab like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that I was gonna put up a video on Thursdays and Sundays, and then I was gonna also be doing videos twice a week on Patreon and also doing the workshops on Patreon and all this stuff. And I quickly learned that I am unable to do all of that. Like, especially now that I'm taking care of a two-person household, I have noticed I simply don't have the time to do that. I don't have the time. And I'm also planning a wedding, and things are crazy, and you know, there's a lot going on. But there was a time where I was constantly working, especially during the time that I was doing my 9 to 5. I was doing work for them. I was also working on my channel. I was also doing the blog. I was also at one point, you know, teaching after school. Like, I have always kind of overworked myself because I have so many things that I want to do, and I get so excited about doing all these little things with you guys, with my community, and I really was like, I need to just pause and slow down. And my fiance's been really encouraging of that. He's just kind of like, you know, you don't have to, he's like, you know, you don't have to do all this, right? And I'm like, no, I know. I understand, but I like it, you know, I do kind of like it. But I did have to stop overworking myself and stressing myself out about numbers and algorithms and all of these things, because it was just weighing on me, and I would get really sad and I'd get really down, like, oh, why does no one watch my channel? How come this creator can post a video so similar to mine and get, you know, 500,000 views, or get however many views in whatever time period? And I just was like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I'm okay, it's okay, and I'm not going to stress myself out over this. This is not what I'm going to be losing hair and losing sleep over. There are far more important things in the world. So I really stopped overworking myself and really just did the basics of what I needed to do, and that's been working out really well, because now that my shoulder feels much better, also I'm able to balance things a lot better, where I'm like, okay, now I have to do laundry, I have to do the dishes. Like, let me just sidebar, if you're planning on becoming a homemaker or housewife and you think it's gonna be super, super simple and easy, let me tell you something. It's not. Honestly, it's not. It's a lot of work. And it's fine, and I love it so much. But now that I can actually do these household chores again, now that I'm not in pain constantly, which is amazing, you know, I'm able to sort of format out a little bit better, you know, what is the most important thing for me to do. And right now, the most important thing for me is taking care of the house and making sure that, you know, I'm like cleaning effectively and cooking healthy meals for us and getting laundry done, and like that's kind of taken priority. I have been able to move away from working so heavily to the point where I was stressed out. No one really, you're not like getting an award for overworking and for working yourself to the bone. Like in my estimation, just do enough to do well at your job and what you do, and to also be able to enjoy your home life and enjoy your personal life. But anything beyond that is kind of extra. To me, I think is kind of, is excessive. I just want to do enough to where, you know, I can continue connecting with you guys, I can continue making content that I like, and if that means it's once a week because I now have a new life, then that is what it is. But I'm not going to overwork myself, because at the end of the day, like, your health, your mental health, and your well-being is far more important than any company, than, you know, any boss. No offense to your boss or your company, but at the end of the day, if something happens to you, they will replace you. So you need to put your well-being and your health at the forefront of your life, because you are your biggest advocate, and no one else is going to take care of you the way that you would take care of you, aside from like your spouse. Ask yourself, you know, am I doing too much? What are things that I can remove from my life to make it a little bit more easeful and a little bit more peaceful, so that I can experience this softer life? Because this is something that I want to experience. I want to feel like I am living a little bit more slowly, and I think that's a really big element to all of this, is just living a little bit more slowly. What can you remove? Are you overworking? Are you doing too much? Who can you ask for help? Where can you be the type of woman who is open to receiving help and open to receiving, you know, assistance from other people in her life? That's something that's really important as well when it comes to this. So I think just overall, figuring out where the areas in your life where you are maybe doing a little bit too much, removing that, or, you know, altering that a little bit would be very helpful in helping you achieve a softer way of life. All right, my loves, that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and comment down below, how do you live a softer life? Which one of these was the most helpful tip for you? I'd love to hear about it. You can find me on Instagram at _thefemininefancy_, and you can also find me on my blog at thefemininefancy.com. My latest blog post is always linked in the description box below for those of you who like to read and peruse. That would be really great for you if you're more of a reader than a watcher. And again, thank you to Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check out their sale, you guys. It is buy one, get one 40% off, so you can get a gift for your mom, your mother-in-law, your grandma, the mother figure in your life, as well as for yourself. And who doesn't like that? So thank you, Luisa, for sponsoring, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.